China has sent military planes through its newly declared defence zone over the East China Sea. Several fighter jets and an early warning radar plane flew through the disputed airspace on Thursday.
The message was delivered by America's new ambassador to Japan, Caroline Kennedy, a warning to China after it insisted it has the right to police the sky over a series of islands. What might seem small, experts say, is a big, bold move by China, an act of defiance from the superpower. But the U.S. was quick to respond, flying 2 B-52 bombers unannounced into the zone. And now Japan and South Korea have tested China, too, with their own flights. Today, China responded by sending fighter jets into the zone.
Chinese fighter jets patrolled the zone over the East China Sea on Thursday. China's Air Force calls the move a defensive measure and says the military is prepared to respond to air threats. Japan, meanwhile, insists its own air and sea patrols in the area will not stop. And 2 unarmed U.S. bombers flew into the zone this week on what the U.S. says was a planned military exercise.
The Liaoning left its home port in Qingdao on Shandong province on Tuesday. It passed through the Taiwan Strait with escort ships, including missile destroyers. The carrier will engage in a training mission in the South China Sea and surrounding areas. The Liaoning is carrying fighter jets that China claims it developed based on a Russian model. The planes have already successfully practiced takeoff and landing routines.
But a spokesman for the Air Force described the move as merely a defensive measure, and the Defense Ministry set about clarifying the new zone, attempting to reassure their neighbors.
The establishment of an air defense identification zone does not mean we're expanding the existing territorial airspace. It merely ensures more effective protection of our country's airspace.
The new air defense zone covers the islands known as Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China, and also claimed by South Korea and Taiwan. The dispute is the latest escalation in tensions in recent months. US Vice President Joe Biden will be hoping to smooth over relations when he visits the region next week.
It now insists all planes crossing this airspace must submit a flight plan in advance. But America, Japan and South Korea say they've flown military aircrafts through the zone in the past few days without informing China. On Thursday, Japan announced it would continue its routine surveillance activity backed by the US.
Japan and the United States should not make irresponsible remarks because they make no sense. We also ask Japan and the United States to reflect on themselves and put an end to statements and actions that may harm regional stability.